There's a little song that we used to sing as kids in Sunday school. It was what the teacher called an action song. If you're saved and you know it, say amen. If you're saved and you know it, clap your hands. If you're saved and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're saved and you know it, do all three. If you're saved and you know it, then your life will surely show it. Quite honestly, there's some pretty good theology in that last line, especially. In fact, that's exactly what James is declaring in the closing paragraph of chapter 2. Genuine faith produces genuine works. Hi, I'm John Kuert, the interim pastor at Alpha Assembly in Clarion, Pennsylvania. Thanks for joining me once again for another message that comes from my heart to your heart. That's why we call it Heart to Heart. And I hope that it's a blessing to you and also sometimes a challenge. So today we're just going to share a little bit about faith and works. In James chapter 2, he writes, "Dear brothers and sisters, what's the use of saying you have faith if you don't prove it by your works? That kind of faith can't save anyone. Suppose you see a brother or a sister who needs food or clothing, and you say, well, goodbye and God bless you. Stay warm and eat well. But then you don't give that person any food or clothing or shelter. What good does that do? So you see, it isn't enough just to have faith that doesn't show itself by good deeds is no faith at all. It's dead. It's useless. Now, someone may argue some people have faith and others have good deeds. I say, I can't see your faith if you don't have good deeds. But I will show you my faith through my good deeds. That's what James says. Now, if you know anything about the New Testament, you know that the Apostle Paul wrote about 1/3 of the New Testament. And it's laced with his writings that emphasize a man is justified by faith apart from the law or apart from good works, which seems to be contradictory, a little bit anyway, to the theology of James. For instance, Romans 3:28 and 29 says, "For we maintain that a man is justified by faith apart from observing the law." And Ephesians 2:8 and 9, I think all of us are familiar with that. "For by grace you have been saved through faith. That not of yourselves. It's the gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast." And yet James declares in this passage that faith without works is dead. And that's why Martin Luther did not like the book of James. he labeled it, and this must have been the worst kind of foul language that a priest could use in those days. He called it a right strawy epistle. He felt it lacked solid biblical doctrine. But it's really not a contradiction at all. It's just that faith and works need to be balanced. Paul talks about faith in terms of how the Christian life is begun, and James talks about works and how the Christian life is to be lived. Paul talks about faith on the believing side, and James talks about faith on the behaving side. You know, years ago there was a story about a Scottish rowboat owner who took people across a certain lake in Scotland. And one oar on his boat was labeled faith, and the other was labeled works. And if he just rowed with the one oar, they would go in circles. If he just rowed with the other oar, they would go in circles out the different way. And he did that to illustrate this very point, that there's got to be a balance between faith and works. And I've said that for many years throughout all my ministry, that balance is a key word. There's some people that go off the rails and they want to become super spiritual and it's just doesn't really, I think, make a good witness for the Lord. And so we have to have the balance. And so that's what I just wanted to share with you today. And I hope that it's a blessing to you. I hope that it speaks to you. Uh, keep having the faith, keep the faith, and keep spreading the word by good works. And hope that it'll touch you as you think about these words, and it'll be a blessing to you. Well, God bless. Have a great day and a great holiday and a great week ahead. Here we are in September now already. This year is going by so fast. And someday soon I want to talk about how fast life goes by. And we'll save that for another day. In the meantime, have a great time with your friends and family. Have a great week, and God bless. We'll see you soon again. Bye-bye.